Hello and welcome. I'm with Stars Align and I'm going over the astrology for November 2025. I'm going to be doing a little bit of an overview and then I'm going to go through what November means for your sign or your rising sign. To start us off, Scorpio season is in full swing. 3 planets are about to backpedal and secrets don't stay hidden for long. Scorpio gets a bad rep for being intense, obsessive, a little scary, but that's because the sign sees straight through the performance. Nothing slips past Scorpio, and honestly, that's what makes everybody else nervous. It forces us to face the shifts we've been avoiding. Last month's Libra vibes were all about flirting and keeping space, and Scorpio wants none of that. It drives you directly into the messy stuff. Desire, intimacy, power plays, money, and sex. When you merge with someone under this influence, you don't walk away unchanged. In Scorpio season, when you're merging psychologically, physically with other people, it is very influential on your field, on your energy, on your transformation. Venus is hanging out in Scorpio most of the month, so we're kind of in detective mode here. Motives get questioned, obsessions take over, and late night spiral scrolls are basically guaranteed. Early November, Venus squares off with Pluto and a reality check hits hard. Intimacy versus the internet. It's time to ask whether we're building real closeness or curating something online for a feed. There's an energy of internet versus reality here. The full moon in Taurus on November 5th will snap us back to Earth. It's been a time of a lot of intense energy with Saturn retrograding back into Pisces. It's been difficult to set boundaries, difficult to get things done. I'm sure a lot of people are feeling this. So the full moon in Taurus on November 5th is a wake-up call about your self-worth and your power. Where have you been giving too much away? Where can you set better boundaries? Are you clear on what your values are? This lunation is going to remind us that we need to handle our own needs first because intimacy only thrives when you're grounded in yourself. On November 7th, Uranus retrogrades into Taurus, so it's pushing our weirdness and asking us not to apologize for being different. A few days later, Jupiter retrogrades in Cancer, shifting the growth inward. It's less about the hustle here and more about finding faith, belonging, and emotional safety. Mercury goes retrograde on November 9th in wild Sagittarius, stirring hot takes, messy arguments, and late night overshares. With Mars in the mix, words carry bite. When Mercury drifts back into Scorpio on the 18th, conversations are getting deeper, maybe even raw, but that's where the healing is happening. Scorpio season is bringing about a lot of healing. It brings a lot of transformation, and it's pulling up things that have been buried under the surface and asking us to reevaluate them. The new moon in Scorpio on November 20th wipes the slate clean for new bonds, trust, and intimacy. Expect a twist because Uranus is stirring the pot here. And the very next day, the sun enters Sagittarius and the whole vibe flips. Suddenly, it's less about closeness and more about adventure, freedom, and exploring uncharted paths. This month is a tug of war between Scorpio's need for depth and Sagittarius' need for space. Both want the truth, both go to extremes. Scorpio is more about closeness and psychology, Sagittarius is more about freedom and getting out there. With 3 retrogrades in play, the lesson is balance. Don't start chaos just because you're bored. Be bold, not cruel. Say what matters, but skip the mean edge. Scorpio asks for depth. Sagittarius asks for expansion, and both remind us that honesty is the ultimate truth. Aries and Aries risings. November kicks off with big questions about where you actually belong. If you've been feeling out of sync with your crew or noticing energy in certain relationships feel one-sided, this is your month to shake things up. Remember, you're the zodiac's fire starter, you're the trailblazer, you're not here to blend in, you're here to break free and start your own path. The sun lights up the part of your chart tied to shared energy, secrets, and transformation. The translation of that is that your relationships are going to get a dose of truth serum. Old emotions bubble up, your intuition refuses to stay quiet here, and bonds either deepen or they dissolve. The Taurus full moon on the 5th shines a light on your worth, asking, are you undervaluing yourself? Are you picking up energy that doesn't belong to you? Do your relationships reflect who you really are? Scorpio season has no chill, and it will make whatever the answer to these questions are crystal clear for you. On November 4th, your ruling planet, Mars, blasts into Sagittarius, sparking adventure mode. This is your cosmic permission slip to book a trip, to dive into new studies, or to explore a new philosophy. Curiosity becomes your compass. With Mercury retrograding through the same territory later this month, expect reroutes and deja vu moments. Don't rush to be right. Use this time to reframe your story, re-examine the lessons, and find the meaning behind what is unfolding. The Scorpio new moon on November 20th invites you to start fresh in the intimacy department. It's your chance to call in deeper magnetic connections and bonds that actually mean something. No more surface level situationships because you're craving the real thing here. Then, the mood flips on November 21st when the sun struts into Sagittarius. Suddenly, the vibe is lighter, louder, and way more playful. Think travel plans, spontaneous adventures, and a big picture version of what is next. Expansion is the theme, so chase the wild, the unknown, chase whatever makes you feel alive in Sagittarius. Taurus and Taurus rising, November wants change. I know that's not exactly your favorite word, but this month you're learning to lean into transformation because it brings rewards, more confidence, more self-awareness, and a deeper sense of embodiment. Scorpio season lights up your relationship zone, stirring the need for intimacy, honesty, trust. Venus adds a little romance to the mix, but don't expect smooth sailing romance because this energy is meant to be provoking and to reveal things. With Mercury retrograde, expect old dynamics to resurface. Exes may pop up. Unresolved conversations may need to be had. Old patterns may appear just so you can see how much you've grown or where you're still stuck. Take it as an opportunity to recalibrate what you give and what you get. The full moon is on your sign on November 5th. This is a spotlight moment. Your needs, your worth, your presence, it's all on display here. Ask yourself, do your connections reflect your true value? Do you feel secure? Do you feel seen? This lunation pushes you to release what no longer feeds you and hold on to what actually sustains you. The very next day, Venus, your ruling planet, dives into Scorpio and immediately clashes with Pluto. This is going to bring up power struggles at work or tough questions about where your career is headed. The message is to get clear about the contracts, commitments, and relationships that drain you. If a job is draining you, this is the perfect time to evaluate that, and you probably will be forced to look at it. Then comes the big shake. On November 7th, Uranus retrogrades back into your sign for one final visit in our lifetime. Since 2018, this transit has been rewriting who you are from the ground up, your identities, your values, and what stability really means. This retrograde is the last checkpoint. Are you still playing small? Are you living in alignment with the person you've become? It's an important time to look at what you've been building and if it feels valuable to you. Gemini and Gemini rising. November is asking you to stop running around and to tend to the small daily details that keep your life on track. With Scorpio season activating your routines, health, and work-life balance, you're encouraged to embrace the daily rituals that do support your well-being. If you've been avoiding structure, skipping self-care, or letting disorganization pile up, this month is going to be a wake-up call. Work matters will certainly pick up this month, but the full moon in Taurus on November 5th shines a light on rest and release, urging you to take care of your inner world. This lunation reminds you that burnout isn't glamorous, and sometimes the smartest thing you can do is slow down. Your intuition is going to be speaking loudly through your body. With Mercury, your ruler, backtracking through bold and inappropriate Sagittarius on the 9th, conversations can spiral into chaos if you're not well rested. Sagittarius rules your partnership sector, so don't be surprised if other people are the ones stirring the pot. Miscommunication, scheduling conflicts, or someone else's unfiltered honesty could set you off. Instead of matching fire with fire, take it as an invitation to slow down, to listen, to get clear on what you actually want to say and what's better left unsaid. Expect the occasional text from an ex, but try not to regress. By the 21st, as the sun enters your sector of partnership and the focus shifts from work to connection, Venus joins the party shortly after. Relationships, romantic, professional, or otherwise, take center stage here, reminding you that you don't have to do everything alone. Sagittarius season brings opportunities to collaborate, learn through others, and explore higher purposes in your connections. Cancer and Cancer rising. November is about pleasure, passion, and putting your heart on display. With the sun moving through Scorpio, you're craving romance, creativity, and play is going to be impossible to ignore this month for you guys. This is your month to dive into projects, people, and experience that light you up. Whether it's a love affair, a hobby that feels like therapy, or simply carving out more joy in your daily life, you're being pushed to express yourself unapologetically. If you've been holding back out of fear of what others might think, the Taurus full moon on November 5th brings the courage to share your work, your voice, or your art. This lunation reminds you that the right people will always find you and celebrate you for being real, because you guys are real. On November 9th, Mercury retrogrades in Sagittarius, shaking up your work and your routine zone. Expect schedule changes, crossed wires with coworkers, or just a general need to edit the way you move through your daily life. Instead of stressing, use this reset to figure out what actually grounds you. 2 days later, Jupiter stations retrograde in your sign, slowing down the rush to do more so you can focus on what really feeds you. This is an invitation to tend to your inner world, nourish your sense of safety and belonging, and reimagine old dreams through a new lens. November is your reminder that vulnerability is power. The more you share your truth, whether through art, words, or relationships, the more you feel seen, supported, and celebrated. Leo and Leo rising, November digs into your roots. Scorpio season highlights what you've inherited, ancestral patterns, family dynamics, and the hidden power running through your lineage. This is the moment for breaking cycles and reclaiming your own narrative. Ask yourself, What lessons about love and loyalty need to transform so you can move forward differently? The Sun and Venus clash with Pluto and Aquarius during the first week, spotlighting your closest relationships. You may notice old patterns resurfacing. This is asking you, are you evolving or are you just replaying the past? Are you holding on to comfort at the expense of your own growth? With Mercury retrograde stirring up your creativity and romance sector, you are being asked to re-examine what really lights you up, what feeds your spirit, what inspires you. Follow that spark. The Taurus full moon on November 5th highlights your career and reputation, forcing you to confront whether you're truly valued at work. If you've been sidelining yourself or accepting less recognition than you deserve, it's time to flip the script. Uranus re-enters your career zone 2 days later for one last visit in this lifetime, bringing up the final wave of change to your public life. Since 2018, you've been pushed to reinvent how you show up in the world. Now comes the moment to fully own your path and step into a future that feels authentic, not expected. By November 21st, the sun strides into Sagittarius and the heaviness is lifting. The focus shifts to fun, romance, creativity. Pleasure becomes medicine and joy becomes a part of your healing. By the end of the month, as Venus joins Sagittarius, the vibe is playful, flirty, and full of inspiration, reminding you that life is meant to be lived boldly and with the heart. Virgo and Virgo rising, November is sharpening your vision, but also asking you to quiet that analytical inner critic. Scorpio season has you in detective mode, noticing every detail and connecting dots no one else can. Your instincts are razor sharp, but with Mercury retrograde kicking in mid-month, be careful not to spiral into suspicion or worst-case scenarios. The big lesson now is how much your mindset shapes your reality. Assume the worst and it'll play out. Assume the best and you'll be surprised at how quickly things can flow in your favor. Your thoughts and your words are like arrows and you have to direct them in your place of choice, essentially. So watch your words, refine your thoughts, and lean towards optimism. The Taurus full moon on November 5th helps you shed light on limiting beliefs and outdated narratives that keep you stuck. You don't have to be a constant work in progress. Perfection is not a prerequisite for joy. It is okay to let yourself savor the moment, flaws and all. By November 21st, the sun shifts into Sagittarius, pulling your focus back home. This is your cue to recharge your roots, reconnect with family, and create a sanctuary that truly supports you. As Venus joins Sagittarius on November 30th, you'll want to infuse beauty and meaning into your home and space, or pour more love into relationships that make you feel safe. Libra and Libra rising, November is your crash course in self-worth, the kind that doesn't hinge on anybody else's approval. With Scorpio spotlighting your shared resources and energetic exchanges, you may notice how much your confidence has been shaped by projections of others. Money themes could come up, or you may feel the urge to cut ties with people or situations that drain your energy. Remember, people can only see you from their own level of awareness. If you don't like the lens they're looking at you through, stop letting it define your value. This month pushes you to figure out what actually makes you feel secure. Financially, emotionally, spiritually, this is a time for security and figuring out how to build that. Where have you been overextending yourself in love or money? This is your cue to stop pouring into everyone else and start reinvesting in yourself and your independence. This first week of November brings a Venus-Pluto showdown, highlighting power dynamics in your relationships. Ask yourself, is this connection evolving you or is it chipping away at your self-esteem? Compromise is healthy. Self-betrayal is not healthy. On November 5th, the Taurus full moon doubles down on intimacy and trust, reminding you that real closeness requires both boundaries and openness. When Mercury retrogrades in Sagittarius on November 9th, you're encouraged to ditch people-pleasing in favor of authenticity. You're more outspoken than usual, and that's a strength, even if it ruffles feathers. Just expect minor delays or miscommunications, especially in travel or short-term plans. The Scorpio new moon on November 20th wipes the slate clean for your money story and self-worth narrative. Set intentions around what you're ready to receive and how you want to feel while receiving it. By November 21st, the sun moves into Sagittarius and the vibe lightens. Communication, learning, and curiosity are all going to take the spotlight. Conversations flow easier, and the right people aren't just okay with your perspective, they celebrate it. Scorpio and Scorpio rising, it is your season. The spotlight is on you. November delivers plot twists, revelations, and plenty of main character energy. With Venus in your sign until the 30th, your magnetism is undeniable. You're pulling people, opportunities, wild synchronicities all into your field. All of these things are coming your way at lightning speed this month. The question is, what do you want to actually attract? Focus that power with intention because it's manifestation prime time right now. Pluto, your ruler, is directed in Aquarius, which is stirring up themes of belonging and security at the foundation of your life. As Venus squares Pluto early in the month, feelings of isolation or rejection may rise, but don't panic, because this is going to be your fuel. You're being shown where intimacy has been blocked or where you've settled for comfort instead of growth. The Taurus full moon on November 5th pushes this even further, spotlighting relationship patterns that need change. It may feel raw or uncomfortable, but it's clearing the path for deeper and more authentic bonds. On November 9th, Mercury retrogrades in Sagittarius, throwing your beliefs about money, security, and self-worth all into focus. Pay attention to your words and your mindset. How you talk about yourself and your resources sets the tone for what you attract. When Mercury slips back into your sign on the 18th, things get personal. This is your moment to voice what you truly want, what you need, and what you're absolutely done compromising on. Then comes the power move, the new moon in Scorpio on November 20th. Think of this as your personal reset button. Set intentions around intimacy, self-worth, and transformation. Plant the seeds for the life and love you're ready to claim. Sagittarius and Sagittarius rising, with Mars and Mercury both in your sign, November feels like a full throttle sprint. You want to say yes to everything, every trip, every project, every late night adventure, but your body has other plans. Burn too hot, too fast, and you will hit the wall. So pace yourself. Not every invitation needs an RSVP this month. The sun is still moving through your introspection zone, so part of you feels dreamy, tired, or just ready to cocoon. The full moon in Taurus on November 5th doubles down on that message, pushing you to slow down, rest, and recharge. Think of it as a mini hibernation before your season launches back into the spotlight. On November 9th, Mercury retrogrades in your sign and oversharing becomes a hazard. Your blunt honesty is cool, it's iconic, but this month, an unfiltered conversation or take could backfire. Instead of broadcasting opinions, channel your energy into action. Mars is demanding proof, so show and do not tell. Then, on the 11th, Jupiter, your ruling planet, stations retrograde, turning the mirror towards intimacy. You're asked to look at how you give and receive time, energy, and trust. Are you overgiving? Are you holding back out of fear, avoiding closeness altogether? This reflective vibe may even stir memories of past loves. It might resurface feelings that you didn't fully process the first time around. Everything shifts on November 21st when the sun bursts into your sign. Your charisma, confidence, and appetite for life return full force. By the time Venus joins you on November 30th, you're magnetic, playful, and impossible to ignore. Love and opportunity are going to be chasing you down. Capricorn and Capricorn rising, this month is all about being intentional with your time and influence. Your light is too bright to waste on circles that drain you. And with the sun in Scorpio highlighting your community sector, your networks are getting called out. If rejection stings, take it as a wake up. Your energy is valuable and not everyone deserves access to it. Don't hand your power over to the internet or internalize how unhealed people see you. Go where the love is. Gravitate towards those who actually recognize your talent here. With a Taurus full moon on November 5th shining on your creative power, it asks you to check in with what you've been manifesting. Are you unconsciously calling in proof of your fears instead of your worth? This lunation reminds you that the vibes that you hold within you are shaping the experiences and the relationships that you attract. When Mercury retrogrades on November 9th, it's moving through your private psychic sector. Spiritual fog starts to lift, clearing space for your trust and intuition again. Old doubts or mental loops may resurface, but this is your chance to rewrite the script. And as Saturn, your ruling planet, stations direct in Pisces for the last time this month, you've hit the final stretch of a long lesson in boundaries and discernment. Since 2023, you've been asked to trust your inner knowing without waiting for outside approval, and now clarity is landing. It may feel sobering, but it's also liberating. This month marks the moment your spiritual maturity fully locks in. Aquarius and Aquarius rising, November turns up the spotlight on your career and visibility. With Pluto moving through your sign, you're in the middle of a long reinvention. And yeah, transformation isn't always comfortable. Early in the month, Venus in Scorpio squares Pluto, and you might feel torn between craving recognition and wanting to hide from it. Power struggles, jealousy, or tension in professional ties could flare up, but these moments are catalysts pushing you closer to your true purpose. The Taurus full moon on November 5th pulls you back into your private world. Home, family, and your roots are taking center stage, reminding you that success means nothing if you're running on empty. Uranus stations retrograde here just a few days later, shaking up your sense of stability and pushing you to redefine what home means. This could bring up anything from a move to a breakthrough about family patterns, or it could simply be the urge to rearrange everything in your space. Trust your body here as the truth teller. Meanwhile, Mercury retrograde stirs chaos in your social life. Expect hot takes, debates, and maybe some drama. Instead of getting lost in the noise, though, use the energy to refine your direction. On November 21st, the new moon in Scorpio drops a reset button on your career. Set intentions around leadership, visibility, and the kind of legacy you want to build. Surprising news may follow, propelling you further down your path. For Pisces and Pisces risings, Saturn is back in your sign for one last check-in, and it is testing your boundaries. Let's be honest, boundaries are not your strong suit. You'd rather drift like a dreaming cloud than deal with the hard edges. But Saturn here is reminding you that this world requires structure. This transit is teaching you psychic strength, how to separate reality from projection, practice compassion without martyrdom, and honor your intuition without losing yourself in the process. The Taurus full moon on November 5th gives you a voice. It helps you speak up for what you deserve and shift your perspective. You can still keep your romantic, idealistic worldview, but that doesn't mean letting people walk all over you. Meanwhile, Mercury retrogrades through your career zone, bringing back old projections or abandoned goals for another round. It's a perfect moment to refine your vision of success and check in with what you actually believe about your own potential. Expect the usual Mercury retrograde hiccups at work, typos, reply all fails, or awkward misreads, but don't stress. Just give yourself extra space and keep your humor close. After the 21st, the sun enters Sagittarius and shines directly on your professional life. Leadership, recognition, or fresh opportunities could pop up, but they'll have to require you to back up your dreams with strategy and effort. The good news is you already have the tools, you just need to trust yourself enough to use them. Thank you guys so much. Make sure to download Stars Align. It is an astrological dating app encouraging you to date deeper and foster more meaningful connections. It also tells you a lot about your astrological, psychological profile, and it is a very interesting thing to look at, so I highly recommend.